Shavua Tov, everyone. Welcome to Tillus Tell Stories for Saturday night. The title of this week's video is When the Rebbe Can't Help. I translated and adapted it from the book Panini HaKesef in the second volume. The Jews of Vitebsk in those days were never known to be generous donators of money to charitable causes. No. Although they could always be counted on to provide food for the needy, it was not simple to extract hard currency out of them without applying a good deal of pressure. On the other hand, the Talmud concludes that giving ready-to-eat food is greater than giving money because it provides immediate relief, while the benefit of money is indirect. Once a chassid from Vitebsk came to see the Tzemech Tzedek. He told him how his only son was about to be drafted into the Russian army. Previously, only sons, in a family with only one son, only sons were exempted automatically. But this year there was a new tough policy, and their precious only son was in danger. Please, Rebbe entreated, help us, save us. The draft of young Jews into the Tsar's army was for 25 years. Only a tiny percentage were able to maintain their Judaism. And it was a very anti-Jewish setting as well. They didn't want the Jews to be observing mitzvot. The Tzemech Tzedek replied softly, I'm sorry, I cannot help you in this matter. Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the third Rebbe of Chabad, was known as the Tzemech Tzedek after his books of halachic responsa and Talmudic commentary called by that name. He was renowned not only as a Rebbe, but also as a leading scholar in his generation in both the revealed and hidden aspects of Torah. The chassid pleaded and cajoled every way he could think of, but the Rebbe's answer remained the same. I cannot help you. The chassid happened to be close with the Tzemech Tzedek's youngest son, known as the Maharash, the only one of the Rebbe's 6 sons who still lived in Lubavitch. When he left the Rebbe's room, he hurried directly to call on the Maharash and told him his problem, the Rebbe Shmuel. The Maharash said he would do his best to influence his father, but when he went to him and spoke on the chassid's behalf, he too was told, I cannot help him at all. Rabbi Shmuel Schneerson, the fourth Lubavitcher Rebbe, known as the Rebbe Maharash, was the 6th and youngest surviving son of the Tzemech Tzedek. The Chassidim used to say he was a Baal Shem type of Rebbe. He passed away in 1882. 2 days before the draft was to take place, the chassid sent a representative to plead his case with the Tzemech Tzedek once more. But again, the Rebbe insisted there was absolutely nothing he could do. Shortly after, the Tzemech Tzedek called in his son, the Maharash, and told him to bring him a Medrash Tanchuma, one of the early collection of Midrashic traditions. The Rebbe leafed through it to this week's reading of Mishpatim and showed his son section 15 there, concerning the verse, if money you will lend. Says the Holy One, blessed be He, a poor person was struggling for his life to escape starvation, and you gave him a coin and saved his life. I promise that I will pay you back a life for a life. If tomorrow your son or daughter will be seriously ill or in any life-threatening situation, I will remember the good deed that you did, and I will pay you back a life for a life, said the Holy One, blessed be He, God Almighty. The Maharash was perplexed. What did his father have in mind that he wanted to show him this passage? In the following days, the news reached Lubavitch that the chassid's son had been released, and for no apparent reason. The Tzemech Tzedek was visibly delighted by the report. The Maharash was very curious to find out the course of events that had transpired, especially since the Tzemech Tzedek had told the boy's father that he couldn't help him. The next time he had to be in Vitebsk, he told his driver to detour to the house of that chassid. The chassid was happy and honored to invite him in. The Maharash asked him to describe what had happened on that day his son was supposed to have been drafted. Nothing special, answered the chassid. The Maharash requested that he ask his wife the same question, and she too said she didn't remember anything unusual had taken place. Oh, wait a minute, she then exclaimed. I do remember something, I'll tell you. That very day a poor person came to the house and asked us to give him something to eat. At first we told him we were so worried about our son who was going to be drafted that day that we really couldn't deal with him. But then he pleaded with us. It was a long time since he had eaten anything at all, and he was starving. How could it be that a Jew did not have time for food for another Jew that was so hungry? We realized our mistake and served him a huge meal from what we had prepared to be a special farewell meal for our son. None of us had the appetite to eat because we were so upset. Then, thank you, I heard enough, the Maharash interrupted her. Everything is clear now. Let's close with an insight from the grandson of the Maharash, the Rebbe Harayatz, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Sneerson, the sixth Kabbalah Rebbe, from whom the story first became known in Sefer Sichos, 5703, 1943. He concluded his telling by writing, "From this episode, we see that every good deed has a great effect, and especially an actual physical deed."